Hey, if you're still awake, tonight I wanted to talk about joy, and I think a lot of people misunderstand it. We treat joy like a reward, something that arrives after everything is fixed, after the healing, after the success, after the pain. We imagine joy as a destination, a place we'll finally arrive at once we've solved enough problems, enough of our problems. Once we become enough, once we've accomplished enough, once we've healed enough. But I don't think that's how joy works. Because if joy only arrived after suffering ended, very few people will have ever experienced it. Life doesn't stop being difficult. Problems don't suddenly disappear. Uncertainty doesn't magically leave. Which means if joy depends on the perfect circumstance, most of us will spend our entire lives waiting for it. And that leads me into waiting for permission to be happy. I think many of us spend years making silent deals with ourselves. We say, I'll be happy when I lose the weight, when I got the promotion, when I find the relationship, when I make enough money, when I move, when I fix my life, when things finally calm down. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable, but there's a problem. The finish line keeps moving. Every achievement introduces another goal. Every milestone reveals another mountain. Every victory creates another challenge. And before we know it, we spent years postponing joy, waiting for a future version of ourselves to finally deserve it. As if joy is something earned through suffering. As if life hands out joy only after we've completed enough difficult tasks. But what if joy was never meant to work that way? What if joy isn't a reward waiting at the end of the journey? What if something we're meant to experience during the day? Let me repeat that. I messed up on that one line. What if something we're meant to experience during the journey? That doesn't make any sense, so I'm going to put it in context one more time. But what if joy was never meant to work that way? What if joy isn't a reward waiting at the end of the journey? What if it's something we're meant to experience during the journey? And that leads us to the coffee cup moments. I don't think joy usually arrives in dramatic ways. Most of the time, joy is small, almost invisible. A warm cup of coffee before the world wakes up. A favorite song at exactly the right moment. I also just experienced this. I did have a favorite song at the right moment, which prompted me to do this. I digress. A text message you weren't expecting. Sunlight through a window. Finishing a workout. Holding your child's hand. Hearing someone laugh. Sitting with a friend after the conversation should have ended. Tiny moments, ordinary moments, the kind of moments social media rarely celebrates. The kind of moments nobody posts about. Yet somehow those moments become the ones we remember. Because joy isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's sitting right in front of us while we're busy looking somewhere else. Man, let me digress from this script real fast. I am making a lot of speaking errors. It sounds like my mouth is very tight right now where it shouldn't be. I think maybe it's because it's hot outside, so I can even hear and catch some of my speaking errors. It's kind of weird. Never again. I digress. Joy and grief can sit together. One of the strangest things I've learned is that joy and pain aren't enemies. They can exist in the same room. You can miss someone and still laugh. You can carry grief and still experience beauty. You can be healing and still enjoy your life. For some reason, people think they must choose either joy or sadness, either grief or happiness, either pain or peace. But life isn't usually that simple. Human beings are capable of carrying multiple emotions at once. We can remember what we've lost while still appreciating what remains. And I think that's important because if we believe joy requires the absence of pain, we'll spend years rejecting it. And that leads me into why we feel guilty for being happy. I think one of the strangest things about pain is what happens when it finally starts losing its grip. Because sometimes I digress, because sometimes people don't feel relief. Sometimes they feel guilt. They laugh and immediately wonder, should I be laughing? They enjoy themselves and immediately remember what hurt them. They smile and suddenly feel disloyal to their own grief. As if healing is betrayal, as if moving forward means forgetting, as if happiness somehow dishonors the thing we've lost. But I don't think that's true. I think healing honors the experience. I think continuing honors the experience. I think living honors the experience. Because the people we love, the dreams we cared about, the chapters that shaped us, they were never asking us to remain stuck. They were asking us to continue. Because joy doesn't need perfect conditions. I think we spend too much time treating joy like weather, something that only appears when conditions are perfect. But some of the happiest moments people carry happen during imperfect seasons. Broke college students laughing over cheap food, families struggling financially but still finding reasons to smile, friends sitting in parking lots talking until 2 a.m, long conversations, shared struggles, imperfect moments. Yet somehow those become treasured memories, not because life was perfect, because people weren't present. People were present. Joy doesn't require perfection. It simply requires participation. It asks us to show up, to notice, to remain open. And so, let me talk about a friend that I'm talking to. I won't say her name, but her name starts with the letter K. And she tells me, I am so tense. I am like a damn mountain. Excuse my French. I am like a mountain to her. He can't move. Why does he demand so much? Why is he the way he is? And I'm thinking that's perfectly normal, but to her, she's a soft one and I'm a hard one. But today I experienced a form of joy, and that simply was riding my bicycle, letting the wind go through my body, letting my helmet be free of all the air that's going through it. And I experienced a form of joy, a form of happiness, because I was just riding my bike like a little boy. So, if she ever hear this one day, and she will, trust me, I know, I have experienced joy. I do loosen up. Just a little bit, of course. Just a little bit. But I ask you, the listener, from me, the speaker, a couple of questions. What joy have you been postponing? What part of your life are you refusing to enjoy until everything is fixed? What small moments have you overlooked recently? Are you waiting for permission to be happy? And if so, who are you waiting for? Maybe joy isn't a reward of Let me repeat. Maybe joy isn't a reward for surviving pain. Maybe joy is one of the things that helps us survive it. Maybe joy was never supposed to arrive after life becomes perfect. Maybe it was meant to accompany us while life remains unfinished. Life will always have uncertainty, challenges, questions, difficult seasons, unfinished chapters. But maybe joy was never meaning. But maybe joy was never waiting on the other side of those things. Maybe it was being. Am I okay today? Maybe because the script is so long. Who knows? Maybe it has been walking beside us all along. Quietly, patiently, waiting to be noticed. If you're still awake tonight, don't wait for permission to enjoy your life. Some of the most beautiful moments happen while things are still unfinished. Some of the best memories happen while we're still healing. Some of the deepest moments arrive long before everything makes sense. Let me repeat that last line, because this is a good closer. So many mistakes today. I wonder why. I'm human, so I don't know. Maybe because it's hot. Who really knows? It's a lot of mistakes today. But that's fine. I'm just talking to you, the listener, right? I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be human, just like you. So I'll give myself some grace. Maybe my next series should be called Grace. I digress. Some of the deepest joys arrive long before everything makes sense. The room will reopen on Thursday night. I'll leave the light on for you.